So listen up, y'all, to what we say. We won't be banned in the USA.
Welcome to the third episode of the Players Lounge. After we left last time, it was rather dicey whether or not we would be back on the air. Apparently, there are some things you can't really get away with on TV. But it was a bad week altogether for yours truly. Let's see what happened. Yanked from the air, got cut from the Animal Planet, so we no longer have a television home there. Lost and upset a big-time sponsor. And to top it off, I lost to a girl. What's going wrong here? Well, it's not all bad news. Things have turned around a little bit. We've now got a brand new home here on a new network. We're now brought to you live from the Game Show Network. Games all the time. They saw some value in the Fantasy Player Lounge, so they picked us up. But there's a lot of restrictions. Apparently, there are some things you can't say on television because the FCC just, how can I say it, can't understand normal thinking. Oh crap. That's another new thing this week. Now, because I'm on the Game Show Network and because of my prior history, I am now being watched by the FCC. So I got a new message from the general manager of the FCC. It says, and I quote, "We discussed this, player. You are walking on very thin ice. Your attitude, your comments must change. This will be your first and only warning." Great. Now I'm in trouble again. Things are not going well. But I'm not the only team that's not going well for. There are many teams out there that had very high hopes for this season, and it hasn't come to fruition. Teams like the Minnesota Vikings and the Dallas Cowboys, not to mention the San Francisco 49ers. All of those were highly praised to be playoff teams, possibly even Super Bowl teams, much like the franchise players. So 0-2 is very difficult to handle, losing to a kid selling hot dogs and a girl. But there is a brighter hope. There has been other teams, like the New York Giants of recent history, started 0-2, then went all the way to the Super Bowl and beat the New England Patriots. Speaking of the New England Patriots, that's another new and interesting thing that happened this week. The New York Jets got off their slide. Apparently Rex Ryan's pep talk from last week got them all fired up. Now hopefully that success will rub off to the franchise player. See, it's kind of weird. I have a script here, but I'm really not sure what I can go with. I guess I'll have to just wing it here and go with what I can. Oh, crap. Now what? This email is from the new general manager of the Game Show Network. And I quote, "Due to your contract that you signed, this Players Lounge will only be broadcasted if it has a theme revolving around game show or a contestant or some gifts." Me with my own game show. Wonder what that would be like. Welcome to the new game show, Sucks or Blows! With your host, Twink Messingale! I'm your host, Twink Massengale, the biggest douche in Game Show Network history. Today's game is really simple. I show you an example of pictures. You tell me whether they suck or blow. We have a very special guest today. Our first contestant hails from Haynesville, Illinois. It's Chris Schultz, the authority on all things that suck. Playing via satellite. Hello, Mr. Schultz. Are you ready to play? He says he's ready to go. Let's start off with the first item. First up is a fan. Does this suck or blow? Well, this was easy. Obviously, the fan blows. Sometimes hot air, just like the authority, Chris Schultz. See, we started off way too easy there. That was a quick one. Next up, the Dyson vacuum cleaner. Does this suck or blow? That's right, this sucks. And for $350, it should also cook and take the kids to soccer practice, if you're asking me. So far, so good. Now we go on to round two, where prizes can double and so can the questions. This is a hard one for our official host and guest, the authority. His favorite team, the Cincinnati Reds. Do they suck or do they blow? Well, the Reds this year are doing surprisingly well, but they will suck in the playoffs when they get swept out by the Philadelphia Phillies. This is such a foregone conclusion, even their best player, the non-Hall of Fame, Pete Rose, won't even bet on them. I cracked myself up. Next up, Mega Maid from the comedy sci-fi Spaceballs. Does Mega Maid suck or blow? I got you this time. This is a trick question. Mega Maid starts sucking, but with the power of the Schwartz, she turns to blow. And the last question in round two, another one of our contestants' favorite teams, Mr. Authority, the St. Louis Rams. Do they suck or do they blow? Well, they just plain suck. With Mike Martz coaching Jay Cutler and Kurt Warner dancing with the stars, this team has no chance. They better just start thinking about who they're going to take with the first pick in next year's draft. Oh, this game is so exciting, and our contestant is doing so well. Mr. Authority, are you ready for round three? Round three, a movie poster. The Twilight movie. Does this suck or blow? Whoa, got you there. While it is true that Vampire sucks, this whole movie series has totally blown. If you are older than a 16-year-old girl and you've seen this, you need to reevaluate your life choices. Now our contestant can move on to the bonus round, where things get even more difficult. So, round one of the bonus round, we get this thing. What the hell is this thing? A Western Kentucky hilltopper? Okay, where do I begin here? One, what is a hilltopper? That sounds like the nickname for those guys from Deliverance. If that's the case, instead of this thing, their mascot should be a pig. Whee! Whee! And then you go, what is exactly this thing? I don't know. Is this the byproduct of what happens when cousins have sex? No, wait. I got it. Of course. This is the illegitimate love child between the Cookie Monster and a used tampon. Speaking of tampons, Tampax. When Mother Nature attacks you, protect your lady slacks with Tampax. Had to throw in the sponsor. You never know when I could use the extra coin. All right, this is the last question we have for the authority. Mr. Chris Schultz. Right here. This loser here in the middle. Yeah, does this guy suck or does he blow? Another trick question. I'll give you a few seconds to answer. This guy right here, even though the pants may be seersucker, but this guy blows. What blows about this is the best picture he had to use for his Facebook profile. Come on, dude. Really? When was this taken? 1969? How old are you? They still even look like you. Well, that's the time for this game show. We hope you all appreciated it. Now we'll talk a little bit about this week's matchup, where the franchise player tried to come off the 0-2 slide against the authority of all things that suck, Chris Schultz. And looking by this game and all these features that we have about him, I'd be in really trouble if I lose to this dork. So, I don't know what channel we'll be on, but maybe we'll still be on for next week's episode. Until then, my friends, keep it interesting. This is Twink Massengale, signing off.